We're going to get started, everybody. Wanted to say welcome and glad you're here. Welcome to LA2M. Obviously, our first session here at our new location. We're very excited to be here. My name is Jim Musio. For those of you that don't know me, I am the president of LA2M, and I'm really excited to kick the new season off. This is actually our 10th year as an organization of sharing that. So with the new location, we'll have a lot of growing pains, and we'll have some things. So we're going to have to use a microphone here. So I'm going to try to speak loud. Hopefully our speakers will speak loud. If you have an opportunity to ask a question, we just ask that you speak loud. Got the air going because it's still, so it's comfortable in here. So hopefully if you can't hear in the back, say, raise your hand or something, try to talk louder. But again, LA2M, so first of all, do I have anyone here that's the first time at LA2M? Awesome, that's so awesome. Thank you for being here. How did you guys hear about LA2M?
Online.
Online, co-workers, friends? All right, please, the way we grow and continue to develop as an organization is to have you guys here have butts and seats, so please share with your co-workers, your friends, your clients. If you have someone that you think would benefit from the marketing, the information that we share, we'd love to have you here. So please don't hesitate to share. If you're on social media, post at LA2M, hashtag LA2M. We would appreciate the plugs that you're here. So thank you again for being here. A couple things to go through. For those of you that are new, we'll be here. We'll get out of here at 1 o'clock today. So we're going to do a couple quick announcements. We have some stuff to go through. Do a little bit of housekeeping. Then Ross is going to come up. He's going to do his presentation and speak for probably, depending on how fast I get out of here, in probably 30 to 40 minutes. And then we got some time for Q&A. And then at the end, we used to say we passed the microphone, but we don't have a microphone. So we'll go around the room, but everyone will have the opportunity to stand up and introduce themselves, tell us who you are, what company you're with. If you have a real quick plug, one of the goals of our organization is to help connect businesses together in the marketing arena. So hopefully you guys can connect with people in the room, and these guys sitting over here may not interact with the guys sitting over here, and so we want everyone to get to know each other. So hopefully that afterwards, whether it's here in the room, got to get right out of here, or out in the parking lot where we have free parking. Thankfully, it's so nice, easy location, easy to get to, right off the freeway, right off the main road, and the parking is free. Continue the meeting. I mean, get to know each other. Pass, exchange cards, exchange emails, connect with each other. We want our organization and the community that we develop as a group that we continue to grow and prosper with each other. That's one of the reasons and the goals of the organization is to not only share our marketing tips, but to help you guys grow your business as well. So whatever role you play with your organization, whether it's you're a one-person team or you work for a larger company, we want to give you the information that hopefully will help you benefit with whatever role you play. So that being said, again, this is our 10th year. We're excited. We're really excited for having Ross here speaking. Ross is actually one of the founders of LA2M. So 10 years ago, Ross got together with a few people. They sat around having lunch and started talking about sharing marketing ideas, and that has continued to grow year after year. We've had some phenomenal speakers over the years. This year is going to be no different. Stacy has been working on some speaker lineup for this year. We're going to have some outstanding speakers. So I hope and encourage you, we will be the second Wednesday of every month. So if you want to look at your calendar, plan it out through July, second Wednesday of every month, we'll be here. And we'll have a different speaker, and we'll be sharing new ideas. So we appreciate that. A couple things. First of all, as an organization, we are a nonprofit organization, so we are relying on you guys being here. We also rely on sponsorships, and we're very fortunate to have some wonderful sponsors. We have actually 3 annual sponsors. You can see them up on the board here, but I'm going to rearrange the arrangement here. University of Michigan Credit Union, they're one of our annual sponsors. We appreciate that. I didn't see anyone from the credit union here, but obviously I won't do this commercial, but if you are associated with credit union, I know the University of Michigan Credit Union is a great credit union, so feel free to check them out. 3.7 Designs is Ross Johnson, our speakers company, and I'm going to save his little spiel. He within this talk. So I'm not going to ask Ross to come up now, but Ross and his company are one of our sponsors, has been a continued supporter of LA2M every year for the last 10 years, so we greatly appreciate Ross's involvement and his support. And we also have BDB, is that marketing design? Corey is here, so I'm going to ask Corey to come on up and tell you a little bit about his organization.
Good afternoon. My name is Corey with BDB Marketing Design, and the reason why I brought Jim had a hard time with my company name is because we're changing it, so I'm not sure quite what it is. But anyway, we've been around for over 30 plus years doing all kinds of marketing and web development. And one of the things I guess our best customers come to us when they feel that their website isn't quite up to date, or it's old and outdated, and they're actually losing business, or it's affecting business because of that. Because what a lot of people don't realize, and I've talked to several companies, is that I said, have you checked your metrics on your website and your landing pages to see what's been happening over the last few years? And that trend has been going up, if it's been steady, or if it's been declining. And what some people have found is that their website is declining because Google now looks and sees if your website has been updated recently on an ongoing basis to make sure it's good content that they want to serve to their own Google clients. And if it's not updated, then it's old, outdated, and it's not going to be shown. So those are the kind of people we like to help. So we help with web development, different types of marketing pieces, whether it's printed, graphic design, things that are related to that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Corey. Again, we appreciate your sponsorship. So if you have any questions, certainly stick around and connect with Corey afterwards. Get his business card. I'm sure he'd love to speak with you as well. Before I go any further, I'm going to introduce our next sponsor. Who's got wings? I don't see any wings going on there. I was trying to figure out who I'm going to sit next to. Elmo, what kind we got? Wait, I only see bones. I don't see any wings, I see bones. I'm not sitting next to Elmo. All right. We are fortunate, so we do annual sponsorships. If you are interested or your company is interested, we'd love to talk to you. You can see myself or Stacy afterwards. But we also do monthly sponsorships. So each month we have one sponsor we allow who give the opportunity to come up. A couple things about our sponsorship, and I forgot to say this. So as part of our sponsorship, the emails that you got, and if you're not on our email list, please go to LA2M.org, the website. It's a click of a button. You put your email address in there. We only send out information about the meetings we do. We don't send out junk emails or anything like that. Connect with us on social media. We have a great Facebook page, LinkedIn. Check us out. Please give us a like, follow us. All the information will be coming through there. But as part of the sponsor, you get to be a part of those emails and the information that we share. We'll put your information, your logo in there. So we appreciate it. This month we are very fortunate to have Let's Go Marketing and Training. Did I say that correctly? Close. Leslie LeBrock. Leslie, if I can have you come on up here. Leslie has been involved with LA2M for a number of years. She's been around. I haven't seen you in a while, but we're so glad that you're here today. So I'm going to let Leslie tell you a little bit about our organization as a sponsor for this month.
Hi, everyone. So I'm in my 6th year, approaching my 7th year in business, and through the entire time, in fact, about a year before I started the business, I started coming to LA2M, and it was a great segue going from, higher ed, where it's, very confined to, not confined in a bad way, but, like very structured, to owning my own business. And so I used to be sort of a regular. In fact, Carter was at my launch and Byron does stuff. I've been a speaker a couple of times. But as Jim mentioned, you haven't seen me in a while. That's because I had a baby and been busy for a while. So my baby just began preschool 2 years ago. 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so I'm like.
He's advanced, really advanced.
So I haven't been in the room with this many adults. So anyways, so I'm kind of relaunching. I did just a very few clients, kind of deeper dive for the last couple of years, but now I want to get back to my trainings and things that I did before baby. And so we got a handout in So we'll go over Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so one of the things I do, I consume like a lot of stuff about all the social media platforms. In fact, I'm a test driver, so when someone has new social media platforms, I'm often on the list to test it out, give my little feedback. And I was a beta user for Snapchat and all that kind of stuff. So I love to get people engaged on social media and make it work for their business. And my specific kind of area is tech for good. So I like to help people that are creatives, that are doing stuff for the community, that are nonprofits. That's what gets me going. And on the other side is like an online support group that I started. And so I've heard the things about it so far. We're in our 4th month now. And so there's homework and full frontal assignments and, just kind of like engagement with other business owners and brand owners, as well as your own work towards your social media goals. Thank
you, Leslie. It's good to see you back again. Obviously, you have some information on the table in front of you. Take a look at that. Please see Leslie afterward. I'm sure she'd love to talk to you, exchange information, and I'm sure she'll reach out to you and follow up. So again, couple last things here. As a nonprofit organization, the majority of us are volunteers. We do have one employee, that's Stacy in the back, who also volunteers her time as our secretary as well. So she kind of wears 2 hats with the organization. Stacy will be the one that sends out the emails and correspondence regarding our meetings and upcoming events. We also have Carter Sherline from Rockford Studios over here taking pictures that are posted to our social media. Roger Rayle is our videographer. All of our sessions are videotaped, and then we post them to our website so that you can go back and see previous talks. So if you ever got some downtime, we've got a whole library of previous talks. You can probably go back and find Leslie in there somewhere because she has spoken here. So certainly take some time, go to our website, visit it. We're doing some tweaks to it with the new location stuff, so if anything looks out of place, just be patient with us, we're getting there. Again, we're all volunteers. Ross and his organization has done the website, he continues to update for us. So Corey, who was up here as a sponsor, is also our treasurer. Leah McChesney is also on our board of directors. She wasn't able to be here today, but as an organization, we strive and we meet so that we can continue to have these meetings, share great topics with you, bring great speakers. We love seeing you guys here. We hope you come back. If I forget anything, I think that's about it from the housekeeping standpoint. So welcome again. We're glad you're here. Enough of me. You're here to listen to Ross, so I want to get Ross up here. Ross, again, 3.7 Designs, has been involved with LA2M since the beginning. His continued support. You'll see Ross here all the time. Him and his wife come a lot of times, and they're here. If you have anything to do with your website, and you have a website, please listen today. And if you would get the opportunity to go back and see Ross's previous talks, he speaks at least once a year here regarding your website. This is valuable information that you're going to hear today. I don't know where you can get this information for $5. So we're really good. So if you can put your hands together, let's have Ross come on up to the front.
So in 2009, Google released a product that everybody was saying was going to change the way that we do business online. If you listen to some of the quotes, what people were saying were things like it's a potential game changer in the realm of email, instant messaging, and project management. A lot of people were saying that it's going to completely change the way you do business altogether. The way that you used to use digital tools were no longer going to be effective. You're going to get rid of your old tools, traditional email, in chat. Maybe AIM, you did that back in the day. And this was going to be the new tool that really drove what you did every day. You're going to use it frequently throughout the day. And it really represented a rethinking of electronic communication altogether. What we were doing before with emails and this very slow, long process, getting lots of them, that wasn't working. But this new tool was going to solve it. And really, it was going to be the next form of web communication. Does anybody know what tool I'm talking about? Oh. How many of you remember Google Wave? Only a few people. What happened? It's going to change the way we do business. It's going to change the way we communicate.
Have you ever tried to get something done with a group of people and been frustrated by sending messages back and forth, keeping track of different kinds of conversations, and getting new people up to speed? Even with today's tools, it can be a mess. Google Wave is a new web application designed to help you get stuff done with groups of people. At work, at school, or with friends and family. A wave is a shared space on the web that's updated as you type, creating a dynamic discussion for making decisions. Anyone added to a wave can edit and reply anywhere, add images, video, maps, and more. And each wave has a history, so anyone new can catch up with the conversation too. Waves can be kept completely private, shared with a small group, or even made public. Let's say you're planning a cleanup at your local park. You need to...
So you kind of get the idea. This one-size-fits-all communication tool, here's a screenshot of it. It was somewhat between email and instant messaging and a wiki that allowed real-time collaboration and all these beautiful integrations that made it easy to share maps and photos and videos and message directly between people and have group chats. All of these great things. But when it was released, it wasn't successful, right? None of us are using it. And it turns out, when polled and asked which was easier to understand Google Wave for the meeting habits for Red's governor snake, most people said that the mating habits of the snake was a lot easier to understand than Google Wave. So people started using it, and the things that they were actually saying is that it was too complicated, it was no fun, it was way overhyped, and it brings the worst of email and instant messaging together. They said it was too complex to live up to the hype that this would replace email. They redid its launch. It's unfortunate. But if you look at the features that Google Wave has, it has real-time messaging, archive and search, so you can go back and look through previous communications. It had embedded media, you can post a photo, you can embed a map, you can embed videos, it's all directly in the tool, you can go anyplace else. There's custom integrations, so you can work it into your other tools when you're communicating. It had custom bots, so you can automate a lot of things. But the adoption is 0 daily active users, 0 paid accounts, nobody's paying for it, and nobody uses it every week. But think about these features for a little bit. Do these sound all that obscure? Like maybe there's tools that currently exist that have these same features? Like maybe Slack. How many of you use Slack? Okay, less than a thought. How many of you know about Slack? Okay, Slack is a real-time communication tool. It's essentially like a enhanced chat room that has all of the same features. Real-time messaging, it has archive and search, it has custom integrations, it has embedded media, it has custom bots. And especially when we're moving into a time where telecommuting, as far as your jobs, work from home is on the rise, tools like Slack are becoming really popular. And if you look at how popular, they've got over 5 million active users. 1.5 million of those are paid, and about 320 million minutes of activity spent on Slack per week. So this is incredibly successful, even though it's by and large the exact same product. The question is, why is Slack successful and Google Wave not? And maybe a bigger question is, why do you have 2 versions of the same product, and one of them people love, and the other one people say is confusing, is difficult to use, is no fun? And the difference is design. Design is the difference between a successful product, a successful service, and an identical one that is not successful, the one that people dislike or even hate. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. How you can use design in your business to really change the way that you deliver your service, your product, to really amplify what you're doing and get more success without necessarily changing what it is that you do, or the product itself, or the service itself. Now, we're in Michigan, so I'd like to start by talking about furniture, because Michigan does have this rich history of designer furniture, especially in the Grand Rapids area. And when you're talking about furniture and design, it's hard to ignore IKEA, right? How many of you have IKEA furniture or have purchased IKEA furniture in the past? Just about everybody, right? It's incredibly desirable. It's very nicely designed products. They look and function great, but they're still affordable. They're designed in a way that they're affordable and obtainable, and that's why they're so successful. However, not everything is perfect about IKEA. How many of you had to assemble an IKEA product before? So you understand this, right? You get 2/3 of the way through and you're like, oh, I did this wrong, I have to start over. Or I broke something. It's happened to me before. So this is a problem. This is a design hole, an issue in IKEA's business. Something that they should, as a design company, be able to solve. But unfortunate for them, unfortunate for the state of Michigan, there's another company that has solved this already, before they did, and that's Floyd Detroit. Anybody heard of Floyd Detroit? No. So they're a growing startup based out of Detroit, and they basically took this issue that IKEA had. They solved the problem of having great looking furniture that's obtainable. They did not solve the problem of how do we make this actually enjoyable to put together, or enjoyable to own. And they created a bed you can assemble with 0 tools. Wow. And it comes together in less than 15 minutes. So you can see how easy that comes together, which is great design. And as a result, their company is doing amazing. They're seeing over 250% growth year over year, selling primarily online. And they're producing more products that are like this, that you can just assemble in minutes. They're super easy to use, obtainable, and nicely designed from a visual perspective. Now, we're here at LA2M. This is a business lunch talking about marketing. And a lot of times when you're talking about design in a marketing context, we tend to think of this as more of like a visual thing. What does it look like? How do we make this visually pleasing? Or maybe how do we communicate the right things through our visuals? But I want you to think broader, because design is not just what it looks like. In fact, there's a famous Steve Jobs quote that says, design is not what it looks like, design is how it functions. If you're familiar with the famous designer named Paul Rand, he said design is actually everything. Everything. And there's no alternative to good design, or the only alternative to good design is actually bad design. There's no such thing as no design. So if you haven't put thought into something, if you haven't intentionally designed the way that you want something to be, you're actually unintentionally having bad design. So what that means is every aspect of your business, every aspect, can be designed. Everything from the receipt, to the packaging, to the email messages that you send people, to the layout of your website, to how you offboard clients if you're a service-based business and a project ends. How does that happen? What do you do intentionally there? How do you onboard the client? That can be designed. It can include very traditional things like color and typography, but even the page load time on your website is designed. You can choose, I'm going to accept the fact that this is going to load slower because I want a more emotionally impactful experience when the person first hits it. Or maybe you do the opposite. You can say, you know what, I'm going to strip out all the visuals. What's most important is speed, and that is a design decision. It could be the error messages that happen if you have an edit and something goes wrong. That message is designed. You can design it so that people recover quicker rather than slower. So anything, absolutely everything in your business, absolutely everything that you do can be designed. And that's one thing that I want you to think about through the rest of this presentation. So this begs the question, what is good design? I mean, obviously this is what we're striving for, right? We want to have good design throughout our business. But we need to be able to define that so that we know that we actually have good or bad design. So, let me give you a couple examples of design. I'm going to ask a question. How many of you have had trouble buttering your toast in the morning? A few of you, right? Okay, great. So, I've got a product for you. The butter stick. You don't need a knife. This is a great solution.
Oh my gosh.
Another question. How many of you have found yourself maybe in a park, kind of randomly, you realize you've got like a sandwich and some food, you want to have a picnic, but you don't have a blanket to lay down on? One person. Great. So you probably want some never be caught off guard again. All you have to do is sit down, you've got your nice reading area, you finish your sandwich. There you go, right? You solved a really difficult problem. This is great design, right? Right, last question. What is the most difficult part about eating a hard-boiled egg?
Peeling it.
Peeling it?
Having it crumble.
The way it crumbles? All close, but not correct. Slippery? Ooh, I think you're onto it. It's the shape. The shape means that it rolls, right? So if you have an egg here, it doesn't roll around, and you don't have to worry about it. You can just pick it up and eat it. So that viewer. Now, so here are 3 examples of products that might surprise you did not do so well. But they, in many aspects, were well designed. I mean, they had decent form. They solved the problem, right? So why didn't these succeed? Why are these bad design versus good design? So if you think about the design of a chair, you can really have these 2 different extremes of what you're trying to accomplish. So on one end, all a chair does is allow you to sit down, right? You're taking weight off your feet. And from that perspective, a park bench does a perfectly fine job of solving that problem. But how long do you want to sit at a park bench working? You're probably not going to work there for 8 hours a day. Now, a Herman Miller chair, on the other hand, actually makes you more productive because it makes sure that you're supported correctly, it's very ergonomic, it makes your arms in the right position so you get less fatigue, you can focus better. So even though it's solving the same problem, one goes significantly farther in terms of actually accomplishing or solving the problem or making somebody better at what they're trying to accomplish. So there's a quote that I really like that I think summarizes this well. Design needs to perform, convert, astonish, and fulfill its purpose. There is a purpose in everything that you're doing, every aspect of your business, and the design should look at what am I trying to accomplish with this, and not only fulfill, but exceed it. Because really, good design is all about great experiences. That's ultimately what we're trying to go for. Regardless if it's something visual, you want it to be a great visual experience, maybe you want it to be a great reading experience, somebody can learn something, it's enjoyable, or maybe it's just a less friction experience. Like, going to the airport, there's a lot of points where, air travel is very frustrating. And just by improving that and reducing that friction, you can turn that process into better design. So how do we traditionally measure experiences and measure design success? Well, a lot of times it's done through what's called a satisfactory survey. And we kind of give a rating kind of like this. How satisfactory was your experience? Ranging from not at all to extremely satisfactory. Now there's a user experience consultant named Jared Spool who made the point that how inspiring is this really? Like, let me tell you a story. So this past weekend was my 5-year anniversary with my wife, and we went out to eat to this tasting menu place in Traverse City. It was great, and they gave me this plate of fish. And if I told you this fish here was extremely satisfactory, how many of you would want to go here? One person. So why are we setting the bar so low? If this is how we're measuring good design, by saying the best we're going to get is extremely satisfactory, then it seems our whole measurement system is wrong. Really what we're looking to do is go beyond satisfactory. That's what we're trying to accomplish. How do we do that? How do we go beyond satisfactory? Well, in 1980, there was an economist who started studying satisfactory ratings, how to figure out how to measure how people enjoy certain things, how they responded to it. His name was Noriaki Kano. And what he came up with is called the Kano model. He said that basically there's 2 axes. Investment, which is how much effort you're putting into making something better, improving the design, And then satisfaction, how satisfied somebody can be through interacting with whatever you have designed. And he said that really, the previous sort of surveys really only go to that middle point. And what you should be striving for is that top section here called delight. That's what we're trying to do, is delight our users, delight our customers, delight our clients. So to illustrate this, I want to tell you a story. I mentioned that I was on vacation last week. We stayed at a hotel, and it had a bathroom.
Sweet.
What? Nobody's excited. They had a bathroom.
That's awesome.
I didn't have to leave the room to go to the bathroom. You're all looking at me like I'm crazy. There was a time where going to a hotel and having a bathroom in your room was unheard of. So the first time somebody put a bathroom in the room, that was delightful. That was amazing. You didn't have to share a bathroom with a whole other floor. That was incredible. They also had Wi-Fi. It was free. I didn't have to pay for it. Why is that excited? I'm not excited. But I'm sure some of you can remember when getting Wi-Fi at a hotel, like at all, even if you paid for it, was amazing. That was delightful. And then we came to a point where getting for free, that was delightful. And now it's just expected. So the first thing you need to think about are the basic expectations. These are the minimum that needs to be met in order for somebody to be satisfied. If you don't have these basic expectations, you're not even going to get baseline at zero. If you went to a hotel now and there was no Wi-Fi and no bathroom, how satisfied would you be? How excited would you be? Probably not at all. I don't know which would be worse than no Wi-Fi or no bathroom. But you probably wouldn't be too satisfied. So here's basic expectations. The very best you can do is like, okay, you had the thing that I expected, but you're not going to get into that deadline area. And you can see that the investment only goes so far. Next, the thing you can think about is features. This could be new service offerings. It could be adding something to your products. It could be adding something to your website. These sort of things, these are called features. And it could be something as improving battery life on a phone. You can do a lot of engineering and design to try and improve that. It could also be trying to make the phone smaller, slimmer. That's a nice feature improvement. So these tend to be one-dimensional qualities. They tend to improve satisfaction, but on an equal rate to investment. So you can see here features. You certainly can get in the light area, but it tends to be at a certain point very investment heavy. There's another issue with adding features. Typically, organizations can kind of get into this mindset where they're very feature focused. All they're doing is just adding new features. And this is particularly bad in software companies. So maybe you start off version 1 with your product, and you've got 3 features, and people like it, but they have new ideas and they keep asking you for more. So you add some more features. Now you've got 6 features, and people are excited. This is great. We need more. So you add a few more features. And it's going well, so keep adding more features. You keep adding more features. And at some point you have so many features that your product actually becomes hard to use. That core purpose of the product gets lost among a million settings panels, and it's difficult to learn. And all the other things that the product does gets in the way of everything else because this focus is spread, and not as much attention is kind of focused on each individual feature. And at some point, people stop liking the product that was so successful altogether. And you get software that kind of looks like this. Sure, it does a lot, but how do you use it? It's intimidating. This is not great design, it's not fun. But this is how you end up with menus that look like this. All I want to do is find a shower. Why do I have to look through all this stuff? You probably remember a time that remotes looked like this. Half the buttons you don't even use. And now remotes look like this. A lot simpler, right? A lot more enjoyable. And how many of you have gotten into a car you feel it kind of looks like this? What are all the gauges for? So this process that I'm describing is called feature rot. And it basically is a rule that says as you increase features, you increase complexity, which decreases the experience. What tends to work best is to focus on a core set of features that accommodates 80% of the people and really do a good job executing on those. Now the next step, what's most successful when designing, is to figure out and focus on what are called delighters. If we look at it on the chart, you can see per investment, this is the most effective thing you can do. Just with a little bit of investment, satisfaction goes really, really high and into that delightful area. Now you've probably experienced these sort of delighters in your daily life. Those little moments where you're like, oh wow, like that was cool, I didn't expect that, that's really nice. So those of you who have used Slack, yes?
I hate to interrupt you.
Sure.
Like Chick-fil-A. Every time we drive to Ohio, we have it planned exactly when we're stopping, and every time I go in there, I say, oh, that was so nice.
Yeah.
Wow, well, he just came up, just like that, right?
Yeah,
Is that what you mean, that fuzzy feeling when you say, like a personal, when you say delight feeling that you get?
Yeah. Yeah, something that's unexpected, that delights you for whatever reason,
Okay.
yes.
And I have another one. I just came back from a trade show we were sitting in at, and we added a new feature to a chair. So we thought the feature would be like talked about and everything. We put in a new delight element, and it sounds weird, but you know, like these cups are very tall. So we make home theater chairs, and they have cup holders, right? Well, when you have a tall cup, it can be wobbly, right? So we had, in the cup holder, we had a little button you could push it with, basically put a jacket up from the bottom.
Yeah.
Stabilize. So here, we were thinking the massage and the heat would be what everybody talked about. Everybody videoed the jacket for the, I mean, like we never thought, so that ended up being the light versus a feature that we added that ended up producing a lot bigger result.
Yeah, it's a perfect example. That's probably a lot easier to implement than the massage and the heat and that sort of thing, right?
Yes, from a manufacturing standpoint, way easier.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect example. Yeah, so these little moments that interacting with a service, with your business, with a product, that just kind of surprise you and make you have that warm fuzzy feeling that really kind of solves a problem that nobody else has been doing before. So those of you who have to use Slack, you're going to have to take my word for it, but Slack does a great job of this. It's always looking at what you're posting into the chat room to see if there's something special it can do with it. Like if you post a link to an image, it will show you that image. If you post a link to a video, it will embed that video. If you post a link to a Google Doc, it asks you, do you want to integrate with Google Docs? It's kind of always one step ahead of you. Or, for those of you who just have a smartphone, think about that first time you realize your smartphone knew when you should leave for an appointment based on traffic. How surprising and amazing that feeling was, or maybe scary, but also amazing, right? That's a delighter. Like this makes me better at being a human. Like I can get to my haircut on time and not be late. And Tesla does a great job of this too. If you've never seen a Tesla, there's all these little things that aren't that complicated for them to do, but it was just so smart in their design. They really just make the whole car delightful. Like if you walk away from a Tesla and leave the door open, it'll shut it for you. That's smart. Or if you walk close to it, close enough where it's pretty clear you're gonna get into the car, it'll unlock for you. And then when you walk far away, it'll lock again. All these little things, not that hard for an auto manufacturer to implement, but really delightful when you actually, when you're actually using the car. So there's typically three major approaches to delight. There's pleasure, flow, and meaning. So these are the three ways we can think about trying to find ways to delight our customers and clients. So pleasure is all about emotional engagement. To talk a little bit about psychology, we tend to be very emotional beings. Even though we have this very well-developed prefrontal cortex, which gives us conscious thought and that sort of thing, we tend to react more based on our reptilian brain and our limbic system, which is all based on emotion, because that's very fast. You know, back in the day, not even that long ago, if you think about the history of human evolution, if you didn't react fast, then chances are you would get killed. You know, you'd be eaten by a bear. Sorry, you're out of luck. You don't have time to think about, do I need to react to this large moving object towards me, is that there? Your body just has to feel that there's some danger and then flee, or feel that this is safe and stay. And so a lot of our conscious thought and a lot of our actions is actually influenced by emotions, even though we don't realize it. It kind of happens behind the scenes. So there's a reason why you see a picture like this and you feel safe. Because back in the day, this was a very safe environment. There's fresh water, the temperature is safe, it's very open so you can see threats. Now compare that to this photo, and this feels scary. There's part of you that probably kind of feels like, ugh, like it's dark, if you had to run, you're trying to dodge all these trees, you can't see things coming up. This is a very dangerous environment. Now if we apply this to products and to design, and we think about, let's say, watches, you can pick up this Swatch systemic watch for about $100. It's a great watch made by a big watch company, and it will do a decent job telling the time. And or you can pick up this Jaeger-LeCoultre, which is a Swiss manufacturer, and it probably does about the same amount of quality time telling. Neither of them will do a better job than your phone, which is synced to the atomic clock. But people are willing to pay not just 10x for this watch, but 100x. Because of the pleasure, because the details, the sheen on the precious metal versus the plastic, the fact that the dial is made from a meteorite. I think Apple does a great job of this too. How many of you have used an Apple TV or have one? So there's something about the Apple TV remote. It's just like, oh, it's so nice. Like, I don't even really like the Apple TV. The remote is amazing. When the buttons feel and the weight in your hand, it's very pleasurable to use. And they've really figured that out. It's also a reason why people are willing to spend more for products that are essentially the same or inferior just because they look cool. Like these speakers, not all that great, but they look really cool, they look cool in your room, and so people are more willing to spend money on those. Or this box, which is really cool. I forget why I put that in there. And then you can think about flow. So at every state in our lives, there's kind of this flow as we move from kind of one event to another. And we experience a lot of frictions in our lives, and we probably don't even realize it. Maybe we've gotten used to it, or we just kind of expect that something should be frustrating. You can take a lot of those frustrations out, and just doing that can improve the design. This is very obvious online and on websites. If you've ever gotten to that point where you're like trying to buy something online and you can't, it's like, please just take my money. Like, I can't figure out why it's not, right? I have to sign up for an account, or like it says my address is wrong, and I have to like do a different zip code. These are all cases where if you improve the flow, you improve the design, you're going to be a lot happier. It's going to be delightful. Simply just by making the checkout experience really seamless can be really effective. That's why Amazon's one-click purchase works so well. Because like, if I had to think like, okay, I'm going to click 3 buttons to purchase this toothbrush, I probably wouldn't do it. But the one click on my phone, like, I'll do that all day long. Now I think airline and air travel is a good example of this. It's improved lately, but most of the time when you get an airline ticket, it looks something like this, which is like really hard to figure out. Like, wait, where's the gate again? And like, some of these numbers aren't even relevant to me. So there's a designer who thought, like, what if we just improved the layout of the ticket? It made it like this. So it was easy to read, and you knew the most important information based on what was biggest. And it gave you some additional details, like, hey, what's the weather going to be when you land? Or what's the time difference? And this is the sort of thing that really reduces friction. Another example, so I started the company back in 2005, and back then, if you wanted to share a document, you attached it to an email. And that would get sent over to somebody, and they would make some revisions and send it back to you. So maybe you start with like strategy.doc, and you always kind of got lost with like which is the most recent one. And so people invented these kind of different naming conventions where maybe they call it like V2. Oh no, you want V2, not V1. And then maybe it was a date, because then you could see which was the most recent. And then maybe you would say like mark it the final. It was never actually the final. So and then you never know like how many files you need to have before the actual final this is like a really painful way to share information. Yeah, and so Google found a solution for this, right? This actually stuck. Google Docs. They took the friction out of sharing documents. So now we can all work on the same document at the same time, no less, which has been great. Another really good example of reducing flow, again, is increasing flow is Slack. With all the different integrations, it's really easy to automate things. For example, we have a form that if somebody fills out, like one of our clients, and they need something fixed or helped with, we call it like a support request form. They usually just come to us in an email, and we would notice it next time that we checked our email. But if it was something urgent, there could be some time that was lost there, and then we'd have to respond by email, and not as quick as just by chat. And so we set up an automation in Slack that every time somebody fills up that form, it sends a message to us in Slack. So now we see it right away, we can talk about it right away, agree on who should work on it, and that really reduced the overall friction of servicing our clients there. Now the last thing, and potentially most effective, is meaning. So again, to talk about psychology, we all crave a sense of meaning, to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And this really permeates our entire everyday lives, probably more than even you think. The choices that you make as far as what you purchase really say something about yourself. A lot of times we're purchasing things because it's like a reflection, it's a validation of who we are. Or the music you listen to, or the type of music you listen to, or whether you like books, or wine, or sports. These are all things that give us meaning. If you really tap into that, it becomes a lot more effective. People love to feel like they're part of something bigger, to have a sense of meaning. I think Mini Cooper does a great job of this. Not just in their advertising, but in the things that they support. They really try and build a community around having these Mini Coopers. So in fact, there's like all these meetup groups of people who all have the same car. They go and talk about what's like to own a Mini. I assume there's other things I've never been on. And they're giving you a sense of meaning that you're not normal, and that's good. You're abnormal, you're going against the grain, you are unique. And by purchasing one of these cars, you're part of this not normal culture. If you go back to watches, Shinola does a really great job of this too. Now, as a watch enthusiast, I can tell you Shinolas are horribly overpriced. For what you're getting, they're not that great. I mean, they're a fine watch, but they're probably like 2x what they should cost. But they give a lot of meaning, this resurgence of Detroit. And they're actually really popular outside of Detroit because people like this grassroots kind of feel, this back to manufacturing, back to basics. Because of it, I own one, even though I probably should buy this, and I bought it anyways. And Tesla does the same thing. Not only, are they selling a car, but they're really making it about being against this whole idea of pollution. You're joining the movement to improve the world, to get away from fossil fuels, to reduce your carbon footprint. Again, it's meaning. Tesla does a lot of these things really well. Now with delighters, there's an important caveat that might be disappointing. How many of you remember when the iPhone came out? What was amazing about the iPhone? What? Touchscreen. And other things, right? But touchscreen. It was like one of the first touchscreens. It was amazing. How many of you have a non-touchscreen phone? What?
Like a flip phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most of us have gotten to a point where we expect the touchscreen. What was once a massive delighter that launched Apple into a new trajectory of success is now a basic expectation. To talk about my vacation again, I had a warm shower, it was quite nice. But there was a time where if you went to a hotel and had a shower, and maybe you had an early flight, maybe it was 2 a.m. in the morning, you couldn't get a warm shower. You couldn't get warm water. Because if you were on a high floor, it would take a really long time for them to heat all the water in the basement and then pump it up to you. It could take way longer than you had to take that shower. But at some point, they developed a technology where they actually push that water continuously, that warm water, up and down the entire building now. That's what they do in hotels, to make sure you have hot water in an instant. And that is now a basic expectation, even though at one point, being able to instantly turn on hot water at a hotel was amazing. That was a delighter. So over time, delighters will become basic expectations. This is why you have to be continually iterating on whatever it is you're designing, whatever it is in your business. Because what you have now is a delighter, at some point people will just come to expect. We get used to it. That's human nature. So to give you a quick case study of how we've implemented this in our business, one of the things that we do is sell a project management tool called Project Panorama. And we've intentionally kept the feature set really small. We really want to focus on the things that would improve people's productivity, improve clarity, and then all these other things, even though our customers ask for it from time to time, we didn't want to do, because we didn't want to get it too complicated. So if you look at our competitor, our biggest competitor, this is their feature list. It's pretty long, right? This is our feature list. 9 things. This is what their interface looks like. Not bad. We put a lot more attention to detail into the design and the workflow of ours. And in particular, we created a lot of automations to make things easier for people using it. For example, tracking project progress happens automatically. All you have to do is indicate what was done, and it'll tell you what percentage of the project you are. Same with tracking time, so you can see, are we ahead of schedule or behind schedule? These small things that weren't difficult to implement, but really reduced that friction in those middle points. So I'll leave you with this. What I'd like you to do is think about your business, think about every stage of your business, and think about what are you doing intentionally, what has been designed, and what is just happening just kind of out of default. And think about what is the customer's interaction or prospective customer's kind of feeling or reflection as that happens. Because you might find is maybe you're going to a networking event, and you meet somebody, and they're really excited to hear about your business and what it is you do. And then they go and look up they get their business card, and they're like, oh, this is a pretty nice business card, but it doesn't seem to be quite as professional as you describe your business, or as you seem to be. And that creates kind of some dissonance there. So maybe their satisfaction drops a little bit, like, oh, I thought maybe this would be more professional. And then they go to your website later on, and they can't find anything that they're looking for. It's really confusing. And so they're pretty dissatisfied at that point. They're like, this isn't going so great. Maybe they find the service page finally, and they find what they're looking for, they feel a little better. They go to the contact page, they're still kind of feeling average. Fill out the contact form, and that goes okay. They get an auto response, and the tone is different. You know, you are a very upbeat and jovial in person, but the response from the message doesn't have that same tone. It's inconsistent. Now they don't know what to think about you, and that doesn't feel great. Then the first phone call goes well, and the initial consultation goes well, and they feel a little bit better. You can see it's a very rocky journey. Even if these are kind of micro feelings from the first point of contact to when you're actually working with them. And think about how can you change it so it's a constant elevation. You can make people, every interaction, they're feeling better and better and more excited about working with you. Because every step is an opportunity to have either a positive impression or a negative impression. It's very rarely in between. And you do that by thinking about these 3 axes. How to get to a point where every interaction, everything that's designed is a delight. Thank you. I'm Ross Johnson. You can reach me at 3.7designs.co. And these are our products. You can see me on Twitter at 3.rocks.
Yeah, we're going to have questions, but we're kind of running behind. So if you want to talk to Ross and see about all the great stuff he talked about, you know, get him afterward or connect with him however you want to. So thank you very much again, Ross. We'd also like to thank Leslie again from Leslie Social for sponsoring this meeting today. And we'd also like to thank again our yearly sponsors, which you have up here. One thing we're going to change is we have a survey, and we really would appreciate your support and help with this. We're trying to improve things for LA2M on a constant basis, so we'd like to get your input. It should take you about 2 minutes, and that's about it. And then we'll go around the room as we're doing this. We go around the room and introduce yourselves, and if you have a quick ask. So, and if you could start by taking out your cell phones and going to number 7, which is if you're not connected with LA2M and you would like to be, if you can connect with us on one or more of those different outlets. Start with number 7 first, please, and then go back to number 1. So if you want to start at this table right here,
Hi everyone, I'm Ian, and my company is Outside Designs. I'm a freelance designer. I can help you with logos, well as user experience design for mobile and web apps.
Everyone, Joey Hampton. I'm a freelance Squarespace web designer. My business is Joey Hampton Design, and I primarily work with small businesses. Hi, I'm Margie Wisniewski, and I own web marketing, and I do strategic marketing, planning, a little bit of graphic design, and event planning as well. And I'm interested in partnering up with someone that knows Google AdWords to help with the client that I have right now. So, talk to me. That's
My name is Sia Fellon, and my company is Modern Motion, and we plan yoga events.
I'm Stacy Kovic. I'm from Dollar Bill Printing, downtown Ann Arbor, your local digital print shop. And I help with LA2M, WXW, UEP, and Power the Purse. So you can catch me in lots of places.
Hi, I'm Karen Thorpe, and I am with Rayle. I'm actually doing client support for a realtor in Saline, California, and so I'm here to learn more about marketing. If anybody has any input for me, I'm happy to hear what you have to say. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Rojas Ferrer. I'm from Jackson, and I'm a freelance art director, creative director, and graphic design individual, and I help small companies get further ahead in their marketing needs.
Hi, my name is Samantha Nielsen. I actually just started working with a new company in town, and we do something that's similar to Google AdWords, where we help take print marketing and do online marketing through geofencing. So if you have any questions about that, let me know.
I'm Mary Schwartz. I work at Rayle Mechanical. I also do events design and a designer. And also,
I'm Laura Drex. I work at Arbor Common Marketing and Design right across the street. I'm president here. We do all kinds of stuff, full service. And I also help with the WXW. I do their social media.
I'm Bud Gibson. I am the director for the Center for Digital Engagement, and November 16th is going to be our big event, the Digital Marketing Workshop. Our theme this year is Your Life in Data, and we have an early bird discount going on. Normal ticket price, this gets you breakfast and lunch, is $70. Discount gets you down to $60, plus 6 hours of programming, so it's actually really a bargain for this kind of thing. We invite you all to come. We will be sponsoring next month, and you'll hear from us again.
My name is Todd Curtis. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director for a manufacturing company called Roll1. We manufacture home cinema chairs for people's residence, media rooms, things like that. So I'm also an entrepreneur. So I have two asks. With Roll1, I'm looking for a digital photographer that's willing to travel to North Carolina to shoot collections of chairs. Not this week. Not this week. Yeah, not this week. I should have that. And as an entrepreneur, I'm looking for people that know restaurant owners. We're exploring a new idea to do customer satisfaction surveys with restaurants. And if you know restaurant owners in your business, I'd love to talk to you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Lee Sutter. I'm a project manager. I'm with Lauren and RJ Conlon. We provide world-class marketing solutions for our clients with our specialty being branding. So if you're ever interested or have any questions or anything about that, feel free to reach out. We're always including clients. We're local, we're a small company, so we can really tailor everything we do for you. So, I work at U Mechanical as well. We build a company, we do electrical and plumbing. I'm the social media manager and I'm also administrative assistant.
Hi, I'm Eric Chapman from Haley Mechanical as well. I focus mainly on SEO, the website, Google AdWords, and other online advertisements.
Hi everybody, I'm Becky Ashcraft. I work for the Ann Arbor Area Transportation Authority, and I'm a graphic designer, also the website project manager.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Al Pacha. I have my own software development company out here in Ann Arbor named Alpac. We do custom software development, supply chain solutions, websites, and videos. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Janet X, and I have my own company. I'm a copywriter, copy editor, content writer, ghostwriter, who's about writing or editing. I can help you. And I'm also very good at setting up organizational systems. But I wanted to add one PS. I did a piece a few years ago that was linked to an article in the McKinsey Quarterly about design and customer experience. And they specifically talked about Virgin, and I noticed that the boarding pass you showed was from Virgin. And this article describes part of your process and how they built Virgin and how they looked at the customer experience and how they actually had a mock-up of a plane, and they had their leaders actually sit in the plane and have that customer experience. And they asked customers, they did surveys and said, what annoys you most about flying? And then they addressed those issues before they even started the airlines. So I was really interested. I saw that. I know about them.
Our project group decided, Roger always goes before me, tradition, that he doesn't want to go. Okay, Carter Shoreline, Rockford Studios, a commercial editorial, portrait photographer, sometimes videographer, and drone pilot. Covers almost everything except for weddings. We're dangerous. If you're a runner, you probably see it anytime. Races all over the state, all over the country. At Fort Golf, we show you the senior tour next winter. Just actually Friday. Roger. Oh, this turn. Okay. All right. We're running out of time. Thank you guys very much for filling out the surveys. Thank you for coming today. Our next topic is going to be October 10th, and it's going to be about optimizing social media with Jim Brunt at Pinnacle Media. So that's going to be another great time. So if you'd like to collect, if you don't mind collecting all the surveys at one end of the table, and if you'd like to fold it in half just to keep confidentiality, that's fine too. We certainly appreciate your input. And let's thank Ross again for today's